Hello and welcome to Autofocus. We are going to be driving the new Hyundai Verna. This has been in the news of late. Hyundai has been building up the excitement running up to the launch of this new Verna. It's just been launched and we are here in and around Delhi to drive this new Hyundai Verna. As you can see, it's a radical looking design. It's almost concept car like. The Verna has been around in the Indian market since 2006. This is the 6th generation of the Verna, and we have had in India, starting from the 3rd generation, from around 2006 that this car has been there, and it's been a sedan that's been loved for the fact that it delivers more value, and it's grown in proportion, it's grown in the list of features that it offers, and it is now a sedan that sort of straddles the C segment into the D segment, and that is exactly probably what the sedan segment needs. Now, the number of SUVs in the market, they have completely overwhelmed the kind of choice that consumers have, and there's been a distinct shift towards SUVs by most car buyers across a lot of segments, including the luxury class. But the fact is, there is really no vehicle that can deliver the kind of driving experience that a sedan can offer, and that is why this new Verna is a key addition to Hyundai's portfolio. It's a key addition to the kind of choice that consumers have, especially because the sedan segment has been going down in terms of choice, has been going down in terms of demand, and it needs something to shake it up, and that's probably what this new Hyundai Verna can do. And that is the reason why that novel front side and that really strong rear side design, both of them come together to bring you a sedan that is now a lot better in terms of looks and a lot more in terms of size, footprint and abilities. So the front design has that LED strip going around the entire front fascia. Simple LED stripe makes it very appealing in terms of design character that brings in. Of course, it also improves that perception of width that this new Verna gets. It's about 3.5 centimeters wider than the previous Verna. Of course, it's also about 10 centimeters longer, and its wheelbase has grown by about 7 centimeters or 70 mm. Now all of that increase in proportions making it look bigger, and you know that impact is even more from the rear, where this whole GT like styling sport pack sort of really captures essence of this new Verna. And again, that LED stripe element now coming at the rear too, that completely changes the character of the Verna from its predecessor. And a lot of those light elements also being pretty new, very novel, very apt for this new Verna. It also sort of brings together design elements from Hyundai's portfolio of cars higher up in the hierarchy, like the Sonata. Globally, when you see the Sonata, of course, it has the similar LED lines that capture the design essence. The parametric design bits that Hyundai has had in some of its cars, including the new Tucson, all of that coming in to some of those, you know, inserts and design elements both at the rear and in the front. The grille carries that same parametric design, sort of geometric intersections, which also brings together the whole design language for Hyundai across many of its models. So now that's the cabin of the new Hyundai Verna, and we are sitting in 1.5 MPI petrol engine with the IVT automatic gearbox, and that's what we've been driving in the morning today. And this is the beige and dark grey color theme for this particular trim variant and its cabin. This is completely new, all very different from the previous generation and the previous Verna. This is a more well finished, nice soft touch IP on the dashboard, clean infotainment system with the digital instrument cluster combination. One of the fundamental aspects of this new Verna, which is going to be liked by a lot of people, is the amount of space that it offers. The increase in about width of about 3.5 centimeters, which sort of adds another 25 of shoulder room both in the front and at the rear. And more importantly, the wheelbase of about 7 centimeters that it's grown by adds a lot more room at the rear. In fact, Hyundai claims that the legroom is up by almost 12 centimeters and the sort of knee room is up by about 9 centimeters. That's a lot of space at the rear, and that's something that a number of people are going to appreciate, because a lot many more people are going to be chauffeur driven in this new Verna. A dual tone beige and black interiors for the 1.5 MPI and the all black interiors for the 1.5 GDI turbo petrol engine. There's 64 color ambient lighting, including stuff that lights up on the dashboard and the door trim. There's premium leatherette upholstery that's been stitched. It also gets seat ventilation and seat heating. Soft touch inserts on the door pads and in the crash pad on the dashboard. There's ambient lighting that's linked with the drive mode, so it changes color even as you change the drive modes that you're choosing to drive in. Also, this new 10.25-inch HD audio video navigation system that is conveniently tilted towards the driver, making it a more driver focused cabin, which is the infotainment system screen also sits in a floating type binnacle that is also integrates the digital instrument cluster. The instrument cluster itself includes sort of like a MID that offers a multicolor MID that offers a lot of information, including stuff like fuel economy, drive information, parking distance information, the music that's currently being played. It also has the tire pressure monitoring system in the Highline and turn-by-turn navigation that then shows up on the MID. Overall, the cabin has a lot many more features compared to the previous generation Verna. Also interesting addition in this is the center console auto climate control panel, which has a switchable screen which with the press of a button can switch between climate control functions and the menu for the infotainment itself. Other thing that of course the cabin gets is a lot many more of the connected car features that we have seen in some of the other Hyundai models. This one too gets a lot of connected car features, almost 65 to 67 new features that can then be used. There's also voice commands in multiple languages and voice commands that can be used to activate a lot of stuff, including the new English voice commands, which then can be used to open and close windows, the sunroof. There's also Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa integration, with which you can use voice controls even from inside your home. The new Hyundai Verna also gets what Hyundai calls Smart Sense Level 2 autonomous driving features. These are advanced driver assistance systems that will actually come in quite handy. 17 features that have been loaded, and these require the assistance of 2 radars, one in the front and one in the rear, a battery of sensors and a camera in the front to detect obstacles on the road, to deliver features like forward collision warning, forward collision avoidance, blind spot collision avoidance, and the most useful feature that I actually found quite handy during my test drive was rear cross traffic alert and collision avoidance, and of course smart cruise control, which basically is adaptive cruise control for stop and go functions, especially handy on the highway where you might find other vehicles that are not necessarily keeping up with the speed limit. Some of the other features that can help if you are going to be on a highway that is genuinely well laid out with good road markings can be lane keeping assist and lane departure warning, both of which we tried out on the Delhi-Mumbai Expressway. The Verna now gets 2 engines. Each of them gets 2 gearbox options. The 1.5 MPI petrol is what we have here. Of course, diesel is now out. You only get 2 petrol engines as choices, the 1.5 MPI petrol and the 1.5 GDI turbo petrol. These are the 2 engines that you get. Both of them get 6-speed manual gearboxes, or the 1.5 MPI gets an IVT automatic gearbox, which is intelligent variable transmission, and of course the 1.5 GDI petrol gets the 7-speed DCT gearbox. Now this is 1.5 MPI petrol, which puts out a peak power of 115 PS and a peak torque of about 144 Newton meters. From that number alone, it's not easy to judge how this car behaves. This is still a peppy, quite a powerful performer. It does not feel at any point that it needs a little more power. The 1.5 MPI actually is quite enough for most people and their driving styles. It still feels quiet inside the cabin. It sounds refined even at high revs, and there's enough power on reserve on most occasions. We did drive down the new Delhi-Mumbai Expressway in both the 1.5 MPI IVT and the 1.5 GDI Turbo DCT. These are the two variants that we drove today down that expressway, and I must tell you that both of them are pretty quick. Of course, the 1.5 GDI Turbo Petrol is quicker, and it has 160 PS of peak power that it delivers and about 253 Newton meters of torque. This is the same engine that's being offered with the Alcazar now and in the same state of tune. But of course, in the new Verna, this feels really quick and peppy. The three driving modes are Eco, Normal and Sport. The ambient lighting and the digital instrument cluster, of course, change colors, change orientation to indicate which mode you're driving in. And the Sport mode, I must say, is pretty quick, very easy to do those quick overtakes, and there's enough power in reserve at any point in time. Now, you do get steering mounted paddles to do manual gear selection if you'd like to do that. Overall, the powertrain choices are interesting with this new Verna, and of course, this is the kind of performance that somebody who wants to be behind the wheel will expect, and that is key because this segment needs that level of performance to pull people away from SUVs, which is the raging flavor of the season currently. What you get basically is two base trims, the EX and the S. These two trims are available only with the manual transmission and only with the 1.5 MPI petrol engine. What you get with the 1.5 GDI turbocharged petrol engine is the SX and the SXO top trim variants, two trim variants with two gearbox options, the manual and the DCT, and with the two top trim variants of the 1.5 MPI petrol, you get the SX and the SXO with a 6-speed manual and the IVT, intelligent variable transmission. Now, the prices range from about 10.7 lakhs to about 17.4 lakhs. Those are decent prices in my opinion, and what you get for that price is a fairly loaded sedan. You must remember the top two trim variants, the SX and the SXO, are very, very fully kitted out. There's a lot of features and equipment that you would get in cars way above in the E segment and the top end D segment if there is what you are looking at. But this is a segment which is been neglected. It is the sedan segment has been overlooked over the last few years with this whole obsession with SUVs, and I think this is a sedan worth trying out. There is competition out there, a lot of them of course having somewhat similar features. For example, the Honda City comes with a lot of ADAS features, which recently Honda has upgraded even in their non-EHEV variants, and I think despite all of that, this is a very novel, very unique looking sedan that also brings with it a lot of equipment, and for a price that is very close to many of the subcompact SUVs out there. And in my personal opinion, the drive experience that you would get from a sedan is incomparable when it comes to the entire engaging drive feel that you will not be able to get from a subcompact SUV. But prices today are overlapping, and that's what you get. Check it out, go to the nearest Hyundai dealership and test drive the new Verna.